Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, December 11, and I've made some serious discoveries in the last few days. Mainly that is like the major discovery. Her name is Alan Davis. Alan Davis is the daughter of Delia Staley, who became Judge Elaine Mandel, or something like that, relationship with Judge Elaine Mandel. And also JODIE, the Australian Prime Minister, First Lady, and also another Stacey lady that was married to Englander. What was her name? Stacey Englander or something like that. And this is related to Janet Levine, who calls herself Lupe, who is operating the Attorney General's office here as Janet Levine Lupe, and is doing the work because Rob Bonta, the Attorney General, is not around. So what's going on here, my major discovery, is that I discovered that Larry Moran, my ex-brother-in-law, who was the CIA director, has committed coup d'etat of the United States government. The CIA and the Office of Special Counsel has committed coup d'etat of the United States government. And the way that they did it is that, William J. Barr, because I was working out of Las Vegas and I was going to the 3rd Street Las Vegas Law Library. And, they let me use the computer there for like 8 hours, 7 hours. Here, I'm lucky in Los Angeles, I'm lucky if I can get to use the computer for like 2 hours. I didn't take a shower here in 3.5 years. They're deliberately and intentionally infecting me with pox, But when I was in Las Vegas, I started a lawsuit. It was Leo CONO versus William J. Barr. Because William J. Barr would not allow me to have any money from the Attorney General's Special Racketeering Fund because I was fighting racketeering. And, that's a RICO, 1961, USCA, 1961. And so I filed a lawsuit against William J. Barr. And William J. Barr is such a Boy Scout. He's such, he's a trooper, You're speaking to the source. He's a patriot, And William J. Barr, he busted himself and he arrested himself for pay-to-play racketeering because it's not just the California courts that have been hijacked and coup d'etat. It's almost every courthouse in America, whether it's state court or federal court, U.S. courts, they're all hijacked. So this was William J. Barr's, the Attorney General of the United States, this was his plan to fix and to correct, and law enforcement to fix the problem of courts in America. So he busted himself for pay-to-play racketeering. But now the pay-to-play racketeering still continues. And so Larry Moran, he used to work for the CIA. He was my ex-brother-in-law. And he was having an affair with my first ex-wife, THERESA CASTORINO CONO, who I think now has a relationship with Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. It's sort of like Boss, like Joe Biden. He used to be the bass player, John Paul Jones' bass player, and I think like her psychology must be Karen Bass, something like that. But I think what's going on here is that Larry Moran has he has worshipped what everybody, because I sent an organizational chart to William J. Barr on the lawsuit, Leo CONO versus William J. Barr, and it showed how it is the president and the vice president, and the chief of staff, and the secretary of state, which is called presidential succession. And then after that, you have the attorney general, and you have all of the attorney generals of the United States. You have the U.S. Marshal, and you have the district attorney. So because I was complaining to the attorney general that that you should be able to give me money out of the district attorney or the sheriff, And his response was he worshipped with everybody down the organizational chart. He worshipped with the vice president, the president, the attorney general, the U.S. Marshals, the national intelligence with Brian Nelson, Brian Nelson is like really Brian McClendon, and Brian McClendon is really Brian Moran, and Larry Moran worshipped with his son Brian Moran. So the supervisor of the CIA, because Larry Moran is also like William J. Burns, who worshipped with his best friend Bob and Terry McGowan, and also his son Brian Moran, and also my ex-uncle-in-law, Peter Nolfo, who became Tony Snesco at same-day process service at the White House. So now you got the White House Secret Service checking it out, because you have Mike Malash, the process server who served Donald J. Trump, my summons a complaint for my lawsuit against Donald Trump. And so what's going on here is that this guy is so smart, is that he has worshipped with every leader, he has worshipped with every director or commission in the entire organizational chart from top to bottom, bottom to top. From the president, vice president, attorney general, district attorney, sheriff, anybody in position of power, Larry Moran has worshipped with. So it's like an antitrust monopoly. It's like the worst monopoly I've ever seen, because he's got the Allied Universal. He's got Karen's best friend, which was Greg and Delia Staley. You know. Delia Staley became Elaine Mandel. It's really Pamela Davis. Pamela Davis is really like this Negro who was into reform from Africa. Her name is Angela Davis, who was part of Mandela. You know, Nelson Mandela from Africa. That's how she took her name. Elaine Mandela, Angela Davis. So like now her daughter, what's her daughter's name? Can't find the phone. Her daughter is pictured at the inaugural declaration where Kamala Harris is appointing William J. Burns. And she's pictured as her daughter. So it's as if Elaine Mandel is the leader of Australia First Lady, is the leader of the Attorney General, is the leader of the White House. So basically the moral of the story is this. Alan Stanford created the biggest pyramid Ponzi scheme in the United States of America ever. They have robbed the mint. They've stole so much money. And Alan Stanford lives again. He made it look like he was busted and arrested and he lost all his money. But the fact is that he made it look like he was busted. He paid everybody off, just like Bernie Madoff and the Mets made off like a bandit, and SAC Capital and Enron. You know, he made it look like he was busted. But the truth is, Alan Stanford is at it again. Alan Stanford is a repeat offender. Ms. Davis is a repeat offender. Elaine Mandel is a repeat offender. Karen Castorino, my first wife, is a repeat offender. Perhaps Dr. Jill Biden, who I think is like a serial killer, because she's like a cannibal from the South American Amazon jungle, you know. And so they are repeat offenders and they keep committing the same crime. And if you look at it, they're like the leaders of American Communication Association that with the CIA and the Office of Special Counsel have committed coup d'etat of the United States. They're overthrowing the United States government. Compliments of the CIA and the Office of Special Counsel and American Communication Association and Nordic Security and Allied Universal and the military police. They got everybody in law enforcement under their little pinky. They got everybody under control. Alan Stanford lives again. Star Wars, Darth Vader. This is what I'm saying. I think we're being taken over by aliens, because you have Star Wars, the return of Darth Vader, the return of Alan Stanford.